Hi, welcome again. Despite the fact that there have been lots of developments in Middle East, especially nowadays, we should not only concentrate on the coronavirus or the economic developments, but something that we see in the democratic presidential campaign. We have seen some signals from the potential presidents candidates in Democrat parties that they are not really happy with what is going on or what is Israel's attitude against the Palestinian problem. Although there is a personal relation between Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu and the President Trump, which really encourage Israel to continue with the annexation of the Palestinian regions, the statistics or the history shows that there have been no right, or let's say Republican or liberal or democratic parties that have succeeded to remain or keep in the present position for more than four terms. Now, what I mean is this: President Trump has been now completing in November its first term, and as Geopolitic compass, we do believe that he is going to win the election by November this year, 2020, and that will be his second term. Now, at this moment, we can't predict whether it will be a Republican president or a liberal president in the office by 2024. However, we can say that even it might be a liberal president in the office by 2024, or most likely, if the history is not going to default us or mistaken us, by 2028 there will be a liberal president in the office, which means that by looking at the discussions and between the potential president campaigns, the Democratic candidates believe that the Israel annexation should stop, and if doesn't, the United States is going to take some steps to stop or at least to pressure on Israel. Now, if that happens, it's going to change the politics of the Middle East greatly, and the relations between the countries will change. Now we want to talk about, if that happens, how it's going to change. So we are now talking about 2024 or 2028 potentially. So let's start. How this is going to affect Middle East if there will be a Democrat president in the office in the United States. So, if there will be a Democrat president in the office in Washington or White House, most likely it is going to change. At first, we have to look at the nature of the United States and Israel relations. The relations are, or there is a cement or a glue between these two countries, and this is mostly. Let's look at when this cement has been at first prepared or completed. There was Saddam, there was Gaddafi, there was Assad, or Father Assad, and there was Soviet Union in 1970s, 80s. And United States need an ally in the region to trust and not to make the Arabs comfortable to have relations with the Russians or Soviet regime. And also it needs to contain the risk of the dictators in the region. So they need a non-Muslim state, and this was Israel, and they have started to develop their relations. As of today, either it might be a Democratic Party leader or a Republican Party leader or even a president. It's not important. These relations will continue. However, as of today, the President Trump and the Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu have a special personal relations, and in lesser extent, I will say the UK Prime Minister Johnson, that enables or that encourage Israel to continue with the annexation of the Palestinian region. Of course, there is among the Muslim countries or the population globally, it's a great disturbance. But this is going to go as long as President Trump is going to close his eyes and ears against all these developments. But we are seeing that there are signs that the potential candidates from the Democratic Party are against these annexations greatly, and if this is going to go, they want to take some steps. What might these steps are? They have, Israel is buying 60% of its arms from United States. If they want, they can stop it, or it will be a great disturbance on it, and they will be affected. So then they have to push back, or they have to pull back, and the annexations will be stopped. But we do not believe that it's a great tool for the United States to use against Israel, because then it's going to really disturb the relations between two states. So what can be done is financially or economically, that like the annexation of Crimea, that they are applying all the sanctions against Russia, they can apply a little bit different sanctions or embargo against these against Israel. Not from one state to state, but they will encourage the people, the citizens or the American public, to start with the kind of an embargo or a sanction or a boycott or against the Israel products, or against the companies who is doing business with the Israeli companies. And if this is going to happen, it will greatly, economically or greatly have a negative impact on the Israeli economy. But moreover, the problem will be that they are going to lose the relations between the united public. And they don't want to do that, because it's very important for them to have the support from not only the state or the United States or the government, but also the people from the United States. So, but state affairs are completely different. They need the arms, they need the economy to survive. So what the Israel is then going to do, and eventually now we are seeing that relations now they are trying to set up, especially with Russia, is they will turn like the Turkey has turned to Russia. They will also turn to Russia, including China and India. India now has a very right-wing government with Modi, and because they don't care really about Palestinians, it makes perfect relation with India. China needs also Israel relations, because it will disturb the American concentration on the Asia or Yellow Sea and also Macadam Strait, which is economically important to have the control. And also for Russia, it makes a perfect also alliance with Israel. Why? Russia is not only started to buy, let's say, some drones from Israel, but also it will also disturb the relations between the Americans. So they have to put really their effort and energy on the Middle East, where they are not going to really concentrate on the Ukraine or Crimea problem. And that's very important for them. So their dominance or their kind of participation or power projection in the Mediterranean also will not be disturbed greatly, only will be increased, because they will have a great position. So since the Israel is going to do or starting or project these kind of relations, if it happens, all these things, the Americans will be really disturbed about this, and they will also start to take some steps against the Israel relations, where Turkey is now going to enter the picture, because in order to balance what is going on with Israel and others, the United States then should be really developing its relations with Turkey in that regard. So there will be a kind of a balance against Israel. So in that picture, the United States also should take the Egyptians into the picture with Turkey. But we will see, we will talk about this, how it might emerge later on. But we strongly believe that Turkey should really consider to position itself right away for the future. And there are some things to be done, but we will talk about those later on in the separate video, if these kind of things will happen, how or what Turkey should be doing. But we believe, we project that this is likely going to happen. And from today to 5 years to 10 years is nothing really. It's just a blink of eyes for the states. So we will see how this is going to emerge, but its likelihood in our projections, in our models, this is one of the strongest option or scenario that it will happen in future. If you like this video, there is a like button under the screen. Please press on it. And if you'd like to subscribe to yourself to our channel, there's also a link over there. Please press on it, so once we publish a new video, you will hear and be informed immediately. Thank you for watching the video, and see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.